Just give it a second so I can turn off this extra sound. Second so I can. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. We're live.
And we're live. Welcome to episode 42 of the Risk Reward Show. My name is Chris, and as usual, I am joined by
Eric. We are here.
right, and we are most here to help you all find the upside in all aspects of your life, whether it be your careers, your financial lives, or your personal lives. So today's main topic will be again, along the theme of the great recalculation, but more specifically for this episode, it's about finding the right job for right now. And we're going to share some tips because one of us is in the middle of job search. So before we do that, we're going to open with our Risk Reward Weekly Rewind. And we have a couple of interesting topics from the weekend that we're going to bring up. So first, Derek, you had texted me a tweet from Anthony Pompliano, who I actually follow in terms of crypto. He's been really influential to a lot of folks and has always shared like the most reasoned one of the most recent perspectives on crypto as a whole. But he was tweeting about inflation. So, Derek, can you walk us through what that was?
Yeah, I'll read us the tweet. It says, if you aren't being paid at least 7% more this year than you were last year, your employer is paying you less today in purchasing power terms. Show them the inflation data and ask for a raise. So for me, I acted off of emotion when I first read that, and I was like, hell yeah. In terms of like, yes, if inflation is a problem, if gas prices are like very high, you see prices for everything that's rising, and I'm still being paid the same amount, I should be allowed to have like that cost of living just like increase. But the thing is that I feel like with inflation, it's something that I mean, you can probably kind of give more context, but when inflation happens, like how long does it stay? Like, is it something that like lingers around, or is it something that's like short and sweet? But I feel like for the time being, if you are able to get that higher salary and ask for that higher pay, you definitely should, based off like what's happening, because the cost of living is definitely going up. But just like I said, I'm pretty sure you have a better uh a much better I guess like perspective of it, because I was, just like I said, off of strictly emotion. I was like, you know what, he's right, I'm gonna ask for higher. That's what it is.
So this is such a meaty topic, and it'll lead us into our main topic a little bit later. But you should ask for a higher salary as just a natural part of advocating for yourself, assuming that you have performed fairly well this year. So if you hit your KPIs, that's why you ask for a higher salary, or you advocate for a raise or a promotion, not because inflation is happening. So a business doesn't exist to help its workers provide for their quality of life. That is a story or like a marketing narrative that companies sometimes deploy, but a company's job is to make money for itself. So know that when inflation is going on, yes, the workers feel the pain, but the businesses themselves feel the pain. So everything from rents that the business has to pay, unless they own like their office space or their workspace, uh, and then like other inputs, like let's say you run a business where you're dependent on like oil and gas, right? Well,
No bueno.
that increased, so those prices get passed along to the business, and they have to eat it as well. And then on top of it, then you have like the workers asking for 7% at least more, just because of inflation. So it is like, I like the sentiment. We should be asking for higher salaries because it's a process. It's part of advocating for ourselves. But like if we were in a deflationary period, I would still ask for a raise for myself, right? So that's like not a factor actually. So I think Anthony, again, like I'm a huge fan of what he's done over the past several years in the crypto space. But when I'm talking like career coaching, career development, workforce development, like that tweet actually doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me. And the last point I'll have on this is for the companies out there that feel pressured, right? And again, I run Grand Answers and we consult orgs and companies in terms of how we can amplify their social impact and leverage our product and data skills and strategy skills. So if companies can't afford that 7% raise for all of their employees, then they should think of other ways, like maybe a 4-day work week, or holding off on a hybrid model of a return to office. So things that workers generally want, but aren't really directly tied to like money. So people tend to associate if time is money, right? So if that's the case, well, if I'm a business, hey, I can't afford you in monetary terms to raise salaries 7% across the board. However, I can come up with creative ways where we can cut down like scheduled time of work, but still try to maximize productivity. So that's my take on that. Oh, and also neither of us are old enough to really know the power of like severe inflation. Like that happened before we were born, right? What I will say is that when I think of rents in a city when I was in college, it always felt expensive, and now it's just like even more expensive. I remember getting a full plate of Chinese food. The way I do it is this, like Chinese food staple in New York City. You can get like a lunch special 15, 20 years ago for about $5. Nowadays, that's like $10. So that's how I look at it. I have like my measure of inflation and my cost of living is literally Chinese food takeout prices.
For me, my I guess my way to see how inflation is through gas, because like I told you earlier, to fill up my car it's probably like a good $30, like 30 and change. But now it's like close to 50. I'm just like, this is a coupe. This is a Honda Civic. Like it shouldn't be this much. But also
such a short period of time too.
Exactly. When the prices of oxtails go up too, that's when times are rough.
Yeah. So again, like I think we're all feeling it. Businesses are feeling it. But when you advocate for a higher salary, I don't think inflation is the consideration. It's because we did a damn good job and the business is doing well.
Yeah, it was just a very timely tweet. I think it did its job in terms of getting people to, just getting eyes on it, with what was happening, with what you kind of like always teach. But I do think inflation doesn't have anything to do with it. But I'm pretty sure Pomp was just letting people know, like, hey, like if you're in that, if you hit all of your goals and stuff like that, this is your time to like make sure you get at least a 7, probably to 10% bump within pay, because prices of things are just like going up.
Cool. So that's a great start to the weekly rewind segment. And I think our second point that we want to bring up is, as the year closes, we have these like end of the year lists, and Time has a very famous one. So they have their person of the year, and their person of the year is Elon Musk. And again, I kind of respect his genius, but he does do some really wild and irresponsible things sometimes, and sometimes
Modern day Iron Man.
yeah, sometimes he has views that I don't agree with. But what I wanted to focus on is Time Magazine also named Heroes of the Year, and that went out to vaccine scientists. So there's one that I follow on social media, a Black woman named Kismekia Corbett. So she did her doctorate in like microbiology, immunology, from UNC Chapel Hill. And she's great on social media in terms of explaining kind of like the pandemic and the vaccine response in really plain, simple language, and reaching out to communities of color. She's also generally, if you're thinking about vaccine scientists out there, she's one of the youngest. And again, to see a Black woman really get highlighted for all the amazing work that she's done, along with other vaccine scientists. I thought that was great. That Time did that. So what's your take on Elon, Person of the Year, vaccine scientists as heroes of the year, or these end of year lists in general?
Elon, I think, him and like a couple of people do like deserve that, I guess, like that title based off like what they've been able to do and what they plan on doing too. So I think they're, as crazy as Elon is, I think he's really trying to make the world like a better place, like deep, like just like deep down. I mean, he does do like things that are pretty wild, or he has like crazy views, but if he's trying to make sure that the world that we live in is much better than what it was, and just like, I guess, like the gravity of people that he can just pull in, like he really has like this type of like a Kanye type of like aura, like in terms of like just grabbing people. But Elon, I feel like modern day Iron Man, he rightly deserves that title. When it comes to the heroes, I think that's a good just like pick two. No one, I feel like no one saw this pandemic coming. So for scientists from all over the world to really kind of just join together and get them this done, like I'm happy that they're getting their flowers. So for that, heroes of the year, I think that's rightly deserved. When it comes to the end of the year list, I really like these lists like a lot. Recently on Spotify, they give you like your end of, like, your best, like your top songs and stuff like that. So for me, I feel like when you get a list like that, like it just kind of gives you like the year in just like some type of recap form. But it's like lists like that are really cool though. So I look forward to just looking at those random lists, like the best memes of 2021, the best songs and stuff like that. So it really puts things not into perspective, but for pop culture reasons.
By the way, so that's Spotify Wrapped. end of year wrap,
Yeah.
feature and how interactive it became. An intern came up with it. So
Oh
for
wow,
those of
really?
you interning, right, you are like, you can be really influential in an internship. So we enjoy
Wow.
that wrapped feature, but that idea of how interactive it could be initially came from an intern. So
Oh,
interns
that's
out there, uh, do your best work. Don't shy away from sharing your ideas, because literally on Spotify, that's one of the things we look forward to the most.
crazy. Like the intern could say like, I made that.
And
Like you're welcome.
but unfortunately, that intern didn't have the equity to show
Ah.
up in the back that says, "Yeah, I made that." So um, if maybe you know what, if that intern, and I started following her on social media, on Twitter. So if that intern could come up with that idea, I'm pretty confident that she'll be all right. So it's a woman of color.
There
Uh,
you go.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that she'll be all right in kind of other ideas down there.
Mhm.
So speaking of internships at companies like Spotify, um, this like fall season is one of the peaks for recruitment season and job search, and we wanted to expand upon the great recalculation theme that we have for this season of the Risk Award Show, and now go into actual job hunting. We're going to job hunt with a purpose, um, and there's no better combination than us in the fact that, one, we are out there always looking for opportunities. You, Derek, maybe more in the hunt than I am, but also, we've helped so many people like secure a lot of career opportunities. I just got a text on my phone about like a job offer that someone that we have served just got. So like in real time, like I might want to process that advice I would give to that young lady who just texted me
Mhm.
based on what we talk about now. But look, we're recalculating a lot of things in these times, and the kind of companies that we want to work for and the roles that we want is one of them. So we're going to start uh, digging a lot deeper into that starting today.
Mhm.
So Derek, take it away with how you are recalculating your job search so that you can find the right job for right now.
Cool. So the right job for right now, I'll start off by just kind of saying like what my mindset was in terms of going into like this job searching process. Um, I've been working for smaller companies for like a while now. And typically when you work for smaller companies, it's like an all hands on deck type of thing. So you may be hired for one thing, but of course you're going to be helping with this and that and kind of wearing like just like multiple hats. Now, I do like it. It keeps me going and I feel like I'm always like moving and always kind of just like learning. Like that's cool. But I feel like at where I'm at right now, eventually I would love to own my own business. Well, like I do have one, but just make it like much bigger than what it is now. So if I can have something, if I could have like a job to where I do this one thing that I know that I'm like very, very good at and don't have to worry about, the extra layers or kind of just like, just like uh using that extra brain power to make sure that everything is just, there. I'd rather something like that. And typically you find that in like bigger companies. Like one of the, I guess like the flags that these bigger companies get is that you feel like a cog in like a wheel. Like you're always doing like, you're all like you're good for this one part and one part only. And at first I'm like, I don't like that. Like I really flip flop that because I think when I first started out, I was in a large company doing this one specific role, and I was like, I want to do more. So I actually did more, and now I'm at the point where I kind of want to go back to that, just like that. I guess like that stable mindset. But that's kind of where the thought process of what I was looking for. So like I told you before, I was very intentional on looking for like larger companies that had big teams that I can kind of just pop in and just do what I do, keep my head down and just like work hard. But the the transition from always helping the people we serve to find jobs to like job seeker, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I had it because I'm always giving the advice to people of like, you make sure you say this, make sure you just like say that. So when I had my first few like phone screens, um it was just me just like talking to me, just saying what I thought like they wanted to hear, hitting on certain key points of what I've done in the past and how like I fit in like this role here, asking great questions. But as I'm talking, I realize that I'm not really showing the value. I'm not showing like any type of wow to factor. So there was this one job that I really wanted because it was going to allow me to travel. But the phone screen went well, but then the second one I had, excuse me, I mean, I felt did good, but apparently since I just, it didn't get the role, like I wasn't specific on what that task was. I was more talking about all of the things I've done rather than how I'm good at this one thing that they're trying to find. So after I realized that, with the next couple of like phone screens, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make sure that I study what these companies are doing, who I'm gonna be speaking to, what the person I'm like speaking to does and stuff like that, and just come like super ready. So whenever they ask me a question, I'm gonna relate it directly to what this role is. And the second I did that, job offer came. But it was like a real, like, you know how in Doctor Strange when he kind of pushed people and like they kind of come out of like the bodies and stuff like that. Like that was the type of moment I had in terms of taking myself out of me and understanding the entire job seeking process again. I feel like I've been in the job finding world for so long, that when you put yourself in the shoes of the students that we work with, you have to, you know, follow what like we're actually saying. I feel like I was just like, like I am guided. It's not hard to kind of pitch me because I know how to just like pitch me, but I guess being more specific and just highlighting how I fit for this specific role. And another thing is with the roles I was finding, they were all remote too. So that was a big plus for me there. So I'll be working home for the rest of the year. But yeah, I mean, that's basically what my like process was in terms of that. But I had really had to recalculate what I wanted to do and what fit for me as for right now. And I felt like for me, having a bigger company to where I can do a specific skill rather than wearing those like multiple hats, I felt for me that was like the best type of like that'll keep my mind at ease.
No, those are great thoughts. I think I'll tackle, I guess, the latter part of your experience first. So the idea of preparing for an interview,
Mm.
I don't think that changes much except for the virtual nature of an interview. So pre-pandemic, uh, you were going to be in person. Post-pandemic, uh, more likely to be virtual. And yeah, there's some considerations, but I focus on the basics in terms of mastering the basics. So when it comes to having the right amount of questions answered, yeah, like I'll coach people up, and I'm pretty sure I come up with like really poignant, detailed, relevant questions that uh, might be challenging for my interviewers,
Mm.
because I want to convey that side of me as an employee or a contractor or a team member. Like, hey, I care about this. I'm going to go into detail, and I'm going to challenge people's ideas, because I think that's how innovation happens and growth happens. When you start challenging what's around you, how things are done. Um, the idea of researching, who's interviewing you. Like that's not gonna change in terms of my approach. So, I have like a meeting tomorrow with some funders. They know, next time they log into their LinkedIn, they know I peep at their profile. Right?
You have
That's
a new
part of
profile view.
part of my due diligence. Like, oh, you're gonna interview me? Well, just remember that you're interviewing them as well, and that.
Yeah.
So I, I execute in the same processes. See if there's a commonality or some fun fact that I can use during an interview, right? And the way I look at interviews is it's a conversation.
Literally.
You're gonna know like a lot of the good parts about me, and maybe a few things that I'm working on, right? So that prep, making sure that you understand the business of the company and make sure your responses speak to like the years ahead for the company, just to show them that, hey, I'm invested in like the future of this company or like this team. Like that to me doesn't change except for being able to make sure that you can convey it in a virtual setting, which shouldn't be too much of a deal. It's a lot of environmental changes, like make sure you have a ring light or something like that, like good lighting, good mic, right? Those little things just add to the level of comfort. So I don't think that changes, but I think what does change, this is the big recalculation, is the jobs that we search for. So you had mentioned, I just want, I'm looking more towards like larger companies where I can have a defined role. And I was like, before you even said a stable mindset, I was like, he wants stability. I was like, okay, boomer. Because stability is usually associated with like folks who are older, maybe more responsibilities. But stability is look, for a lot of people that's like not sexy. Stability is sexy.
I mean,
it keeps me on an even keel so that I can explore other opportunities, right? So yeah, like I don't want to have to use so many resources in terms of money, time, headspace, like cognitive resources, like my thoughts on things that aren't stable, right? But a lot of people might associate that with like excitement. No, it could just be chaos, right? And I don't think that, I think we both can. I've seen you work in chaos. I have worked in lots of chaos, personal and professional. And I think I have the right demeanor for times of chaos. Like I never get too high or too low. So I do think that there's like a stage of life. I won't call it age, but there's a stage of life component that feeds into what we're looking for. So yeah, if you want more stability, larger company, more defined role. If I'm trying to get rich, I'm looking for Series A companies with small teams, because I want to be so ingrained into the work where I get more equity, right? I get more responsibility. I move up higher, I get the higher title. And if that Series A company goes through Series D, eventually, IPOs, you're set for life. Your kids are set for life, right? So if you want that chase, and I think I still have 5-10 years in me of that chase, right? I might think about that. But the past year or two has been super chaotic, and I'm kind of like you. I want a little bit more stability so I can explore other creative avenues like this show.
Exactly.
Our work responsibilities, our business responsibilities have actually gotten in the way of taking this show to the next level. So to our audience out there, we super appreciate your follows, your comments, right? Because we know we could have done a better job if we had more capacity to add, to up the production value, to make sure that, we start the show on time every day, right? We try our best, but sometimes our work and our businesses get in the way, right? So again, we're super thankful to all of those that have supported us. And I think, Derek, like when you lock up this next role, right? And when I get a little bit more definition of and some of the business contracts that Grand Answers has, um, then we can take this show to the next level, and I have a secret project or two that I want to get off the ground.
Most definitely.
Yeah, and even like paying more attention to like the markets, right? Yeah, like I would love that free time back, and that comes with a more stable job if that's what you look for. But again, if you want that big fun, if you want the potential for super huge gains, right?
Mm-hmm.
And going for a startup job makes sense, or starting your own business makes sense. But there are ways to do both kind of at the same time, or like the very least have your foot in one.
Yes.
While you and this is what it sounds like you're doing. While you secure stability, right? And when you intersect that with like our like financial situation. So if you don't have the safety net of like rich parents, or me again growing up as an undocumented immigrant, I'm always trying to make up for years, which probably isn't the best mindset, but that's the reality. Like, look, I came, like I didn't start off in the same starting block as most folks, and I always feel like having to catch up. So I'm glad that one, I'm super confident that you're gonna knock it out in that next role that you get.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that company that hires you, like you're gonna be awesome for them, and hopefully they're awesome for you as well. But I think a lot of our audience can learn from your journey. Yeah. So thanks for sharing.
No problem. You said something earlier and it just slipped my mind. Shoot. But I know one thing you said before was like that time in terms of like what it is for like right now. And I think having What Now, I felt so what I've been able to do with What Now is like hire contractors off of like Fiverr and Upwork. So managing them isn't hard, but I'm able to get the job done for that client. And if I get the job done for the client, then you get paid for it. So and just having my other foot in like this stable place of like I'm getting this constant paycheck that one I can use to like do for like bills and stuff like that, but also to invest that into other things, whether it be investing in more into to What Now, investing that extra money to just like stock market, but just using that and really just gaining that time back, because I feel like when you are working for like these like companies that are like small, you use a lot of brain power, and like you said, using that much brain power, it gets tiring. And we've both have been at that point where we're just like pooped in terms of it, like what, like I just need a nap. Like just give me a nap. But being able to kind of manage them both, there is definitely a way to do that, and I'm really at like the start of that. The fact that I have a handle on knowing how to manage these like contractors and just making sure that they have everything that they need to get done, that part is becoming easier and easier now, because there's like a little, I feel like now that I've been working with them for like a few months now, we have like this workflow. I set it up for them and they just do what they need to do. So and that can take like a couple of hours a week, but then I can focus on this other stable part where I'm just doing this one specific task for a certain amount of time. And then eventually, once the business takes over the salary of the job, you know what I'll be doing.
If it looks like we're burnt out, it's because we are, right? And again, like this last half of this year has been tough on a lot of people. It's been tough on me. And getting the newness of a new year often is like reinvigorating for a lot of us. So maybe that's that opportunity for you all to recalculate what you're looking for in a job or in a company or in a team that you want to work for. So, there's some time here for us to reflect. And again, I'm wishing everybody, great success in their job search. And, feel free to reach out to us with any questions that you all might have. Look out for some LinkedIn posts from us, especially towards the end of the year. So, we hope to be helpful to all of you, our audience, in terms of your own job search. And we will continue this topic, in future episodes, because this is sort of our bread and butter, right?
Can't stop, won't stop.
That's right. And we'll drill down even more into like some of the minor topics. But for now, we will move on to our closing segment, our right move right now. And for me, I'll say this straight up. The stock market, it's so weird that the indexes are at all-time highs.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, if you're like a high growth investor, where a lot of my money was, it's actually a bear market. So under the hood, or like beneath the surface, the stock market is telling you things that, there's a lot of problems in the economy. It's been telling you that for several months now, but folks weren't paying attention. So with that said, don't panic, right? Panicking is like the worst thing to do, but you do have to go back to your like main theses on why you bought certain things. If they were bad reasons, then let go. And I'm doing that for myself. I am, I put a limit to my options trading because that hurt me in this like downturn last half of the year. So I put limits now, right? I still want to give myself a shot. I think I have good calls, but bad timing.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but because you got to get the call right with the timing. But yeah, like, don't panic. Like when you're down super huge, you can reassess, but that might not be the time to sell the rest, because you might miss out on like the bump back up. So
when that bump up comes back, it's going to be crazy.
There's always a better time to sell.
It's not like a real right move right now, but it's just another experience I had over the weekend. But one of my clients, Jutsu, the USA, it's this martial arts school. They basically train you to do Aiki Jiu-Jitsu. It's a really cool like martial arts form, but basically like you're not using like force at all. Like you're supposed to let your opponent come towards you, and you just kind of just like move. I forget what, like, I don't know if it's wind or water, but it's like certain certain martial art forms are based under like certain like either wind, water, or fire. So like whatever But this weekend, a real legend I was able to like lay eyes on and kind of just like shake hands with, but his name is Felix Vasquez. When you get a chance, definitely check out. I mean, the stuff he has on YouTube is like pretty old, but crazy enough, he used to train with Bruce Lee. So he talked about how he came here from Puerto Rico in like the 50s and 60s. He was actually telling us he had this sheath with like that Bruce Lee gave him, so he always carries that, just like with him. So he was able to share stories about how Bruce Lee used to always get certain types of like milkshakes and stuff like that. This is the spot in Chinatown he used to always go to. Then there was another grandmaster there that actually during a Shotokan just like seminar Shotokan a competition, Bruce Lee actually not gifted him, but he gave him the trophy. So he came in first place. So Bruce Lee was the one that kind of give that was there to give out the trophy. So for me, I feel like I've only heard of Bruce Lee in like the movie form, but just to know that not only was he doing the art form in movies, but he was so serious about the art form in real life. That was a really, really cool just like moment. So and Felix Vasquez, he brought a whole bunch of weapons. So he brought swords, the nunchucks, sticks and stuff like that. And he was literally showing you how to use every weapon. It was so dope. But yeah, I mean, that was like a real like moment for me in terms of like just, I guess since I've been with this client, I've really not embraced, but I've really kind of got like drawn into like this world, and just knowing how powerful and how small this martial arts community is, and just knowing like the people that are in there have been doing this for like years. Like I'm talking about like 40s, 50s, 60s, that people are still, there was this one guy in like his 70s throwing kicks like I'm like, what the hell? But it was a really, really cool moment to see like the Felix Vasquez as well as the other masters that came that were able to train with the students there. So I was happy that I was there to kind of like, absorb like that all, but also gain like another, I guess, like notch of respect for martial arts.
So that's a great way to wrap up this episode. I think we can call that, sort of like get active, like use your body,
make it work
to like the best of its abilities, right?
Yeah.
Find the upside of your body, right? This show is designed to help you find the upside in all aspects of your life. And one of those aspects should be maybe your physical fitness and mobility and martial arts. And again, I should just commit the time. I love going to the gym, but there's like aesthetic strength. Right? You build that in the gym. But if you want that functional strength, get
it
into
is all in the hips, yo. I've never understood how much power comes from the hip, just from just watching.
Yeah, from your hips.
Just watching them just do certain things, and just it doesn't look like it's a lot, but it's just so powerful. So I was like, damn, like I really gotta set some time aside to really, focus on like this art too.
The efficiency of movement, like it's all beautiful to me, and I should just, make some time to actually do it. But again, that's something we also have to recalculate in part of our daily lives. So thanks for sharing, and thank you to the audience for tuning in. Thanks for your patience as we try to find ways to improve the show and continue the show. But again, feel free to follow, comment, suggestions. I have had people inquire if they want to, work with us in building out the show, and keep sending those ideas out here. So
most definitely
open to it. So on behalf of Derek and myself, thank you, and we'll see you for our next episode.
All right. See you guys later.